I feel like cultural appropriation is one of those conversations that just like kind of got derailed. Like, for example, it made sense when people were like, hey, guess what? Maybe for Halloween it's not appropriate to just like go as an Asian person. Like, you shouldn't just walk into Spirit Halloween and buy like a geisha costume and then make your kid draw on straight lines on their face and send them to school if your kid's not Asian. That's kind of weird. And I'm talking about actual like yellow face, like actual bullshit. Or like people are just simply calling out like, hey, it's kind of weird if you're like someone who wants to say nigga and wants to wear braids or locks or do this or do that, but at the same time you have zero black friends and you don't like black people and you don't stand for anything black, but you wear it to look cool or gangsta or hood or to look tough. Like, we think that's pathetic. Like, it's like, hey, why do you have a holiday in your country where you just like do blackface? Maybe for like, yeah, like at first it was just calling out important shit, but after a while it got stupid. Like, even with this one girl, I remember I was talking to her and she was like, hey, isn't it cultural appropriation for you to be buying that incense from that corner store? Because it's called money drawing, and I don't think those men practice witchcraft. And it's like, yeah, but money drawing, it's like, okay. I'm sure they just got whatever they could find from their fucking reseller, and that was the name of it. And then she was like, yeah, but I feel like I feel like that's appropriating African culture, because like, it's restrained to hoodoo only. We say money drawing. I don't feel like other cultures do that. uh it's like, I doubt these middle-aged men from fucking Africa and the Middle East give a it's they're just it's a fucking, they're selling incense for fucking 20 cents per stick. It's just the name, because I'm sure naming it, like, it's like they could change the name, but it's like if you came to them and babbled this nonsense, they wouldn't say anything but do you want it or not. It's less than a quarter. It's like, I got her point, but I also thought it was stupid, but I also got it, but I also thought it was stupid. So it's like, it's one of those things where I just thought of, wait a minute, I don't give a fuck. And then my life got easier. That's the beauty of life. Sometimes you see shit and you could just be like, I don't actually care. Plus, I feel like after a certain point, it is just like, it got derailed. Like, it started to make sense, and then certain people sunk their claws into it. And now it's like, we're circling back to like, do you remember that era online when it was people getting online and saying, hey, if you're a black person, why are you cosplaying as L from Death Note? Like, you're not Asian and you're actually like committing, like, and then they would just name some hoopla PC version of whatever racist babble they're trying to spew. And then it just became exclusionary bullshit like, ooh, why are you wearing a kimono? You're white. And it's like, well, because they sell kimonos in Japan. Like, someone in a comment section in the argument, they said, yeah, imagine if the US had a stand where you could like buy and wear flannels and cowboy hats and Levi's and boots. Oh, wait, they do. And she made the fucking point that they sell it because they want you to buy it and they want you to enjoy their services. Like, it's actually, I remember at some point there were even Japanese news stations getting on TV and being like, you can wear kimonos. It's not cultural appropriation. We actually see it as you celebrating and enjoying our culture. Go ahead and do it. Now, in terms, there have been moments though where I have seen like cultural appropriation kind of backfire. Or like certain shit just was like weird choices. Like, I knew this director, he was casting a script where it was going to be like, it like the main character was supposed to be someone who was like really into Indian culture and also like part Indian themselves. But then they cast, like, they didn't go for anyone who actually was Indian. They just went, here, I'm gonna get this Russian white woman, and like, and she was pretty. She was not good at reading her lines. I kind of thought to myself, damn, she's not good for the lines, and she's not good for the look or the role in any way. But they did her up well. They put her in this amazing, like, really cool garb, and they taught her specific poses and dances and stuff. And I remember that we were in the middle of like the Palace of Fine Arts in Golden in San Francisco. And oh my God, whenever an Indian person tried to come up and talk to her, like, some of them were like, we love your outfit, we love your costume, we haven't seen this in ages, this reminds us of our childhood. Like, that was beautiful. It's like, oh, okay, it's still going well. Other people came up to her speaking like their language, and she didn't know how to speak it, and she wouldn't even be nice about it. She wouldn't say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak the language, or anything. She would just kind of rudely walk off and then leave these people feeling embarrassed or like awkward and stuck. Fucking rude. And then it's like, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because it's like, lady, you're wearing their cultural Like, or some people she actually just was flat out rude to. She was not a very nice girl. I did not like her in any way. But I will say, it's like she rocked the outfit, but then ironically, she was ignoring like most people who were Indian that came up to her to like talk to her about like the culture, the outfit, the dance, anything. And it was just like, not cool. And then I don't know, it became a huge thing online for also like baiting people with that type of shit. Like people would just wear shit from cultures they didn't understand. And how do I put this? If there's ever a black person online telling you to be careful getting your hair braided, it's not like some of them are just hating. For me, I say do what makes you fucking happy. But if the shit looks ugly, that's not my problem. I'm not caring. Do what makes you happy. But I'll put it to you like this. There's tons of videos of like white women getting online and being like, "You're just mad because I look better in this than you do." And it's like, oh, white supremacy comment, awkward. And then they post online like a month later, like, "Oh my God, I took out my braids and like my hair is matted and falling out at the seams." It's like, yeah, that's because it's like, even for certain black people who are mixed or have finer hair textures, they don't get braids because, hell, simply put, I got my braids done and they hurt like fucking shit. And I have 4C, 4D type hair, like really thick afro hair, and my braids hurt like shit. Like it hurt for like a week and a half straight. Only now does it feel better because it's getting fuzzy and I'm actually like it's loosening up a bit. I can't imagine how that would be on someone with extremely fine, thin hair. Like, fuck, dude. Like, shit. So it's like, simply put, you gotta heed your warning. You gotta be careful. Because, yeah. And then, funny enough, if you usually look into like the past of those people, oh, look, like they have all sorts of slurs and shit in their Twitter history. And then they want to just be like, hey, I'm gonna get braids. I don't like the N words though. And I definitely am gonna make some racist comments. Like, okay, Bo Derek. Knock off, Bo Derek. I say do what you want with your hair, and if I don't like it, I'm just not gonna talk to you. Like that's is, or if I like, I'll hang out with somebody, but I will kind of be like, white person with dreadlocks. I wonder how this is gonna go. And usually, every single time, like clockwork, it could be the chillest dude ever, and then the most problematic opinions will just come out of his mouth, and it's like, ah, yeah, we don't like you. And also, yeah, like I said, some shit does make sense to stop like the appropriation of because it's inappropriate. Like if you're just like, for Halloween I'm a black person and I gave myself a tan and I'm wearing a massive afro, look at me. Like it's like, yeah, not cool. But if it's like a white person showing up on Halloween in like the Thriller outfit and they're like, "Hey, look, I'm Michael Jackson." It's like, sorry. That it's fitting actually. Sorry, that's fucked up. But yeah, there's bigger fish to fry. But then again, you never know. Because this one lady I like online, she does like, she sells spiritual supplies. I remember she was like, I'm Mexican, but I worship gods from India and I do this and I do that. And a part of me was like, that seems like appropriation, but I don't know. I got some of her products. Let's just say, holy shit, those things are potent. And right as I was recently like, oh shit, it's been like 3 years and I'm finally running low on this bottle, I might want to restock it. Her shop like removed anything like and everything from other cultures, and it's like, so I wouldn't be shocked if the other shoe dropped and if someone finally just was like, hey girl, you're a Mexican woman, why are you selling hoodoo products and also random intention oils for gods in other countries and climates, you know? Also, okay, let's get spiritual with it. There's been several times there have been practitioners of like hoodoo who have been outed for being white, but then they changed their last name to something African sounding so that they won't get clocked. And that's happened multiple times. And then they'll derail the whole movement and just start making shit up. And it's like, that's what we don't want. Or it's like this one woman actually, she fucking changed her name to something more Asian sounding so that then she could pass as an Asian person and release a whole bunch of recipe books on Asian food. That's not cool. Like if you were just like, I'm gonna release a recipe book on foods I've tried to make, and then they just so happen to be meals that you've made that just so happen to be Asian, it's like, okay. Or I don't know, like I get why she wouldn't be like, I'm gonna make a book called White Person Creating Asian Cuisine. Or I don't know, it would have been funny if she did just say knock off Asian cuisine. That would have been funny. Or like, here's my bullshit. I don't know. But she just went, I'm gonna pretend to be a lady online who's fucking Korean and release a Korean cookbook so that it will sell more. And then people bought it and were like, this food tastes like shit. Also, let's look into, oh, this is a Jewish author. She is in no way Asian. Wow, give me my money back. And yeah, and several, like I said, people online, spiritual white as fuck, change their last name to something African sounding or go by a nickname, and or some, like, it's happened since the dawn of time. Even for certain brands, if I recall, like I think Aunt Jemima had a controversy as well as another brand, like a few brands basically back in the day, especially like in the segregation era, they'd be like, we're gonna sell a product to black people, except we're going to hide the fact that no black people actually are in the company or work for us at all. Like they wanted to profit off of black pockets, and they were like, you know what, let's like put a black lady, and like let's like, they even went so far to have a section in the newspaper where they would have her kind of work as a tabloid and give out advice to black people. The whole time that was not a white person, or like that was not a black woman running the account at all. And like this was in like pre 50s, if I recall correctly, like really really far back in time. So it's just weird that it's like a whole 100 years later there are still people pulling that same gimmick. It's fucking gross and weird. I don't know. Also, several times online, there have been women who have been like white or Indian or Chinese or whatever who have tried to get into hoodoo, conjure, all that bullshit. Not bullshit, like all that stuff. Sorry, it's a word. Don't be offended. But then they'd be like, oh my god, like I don't know how to pronounce this name. Sorry, I'm gonna botch this. I botched a lot of names. I think the demon, not demon, god, I don't know. I don't know enough. I mind my business and stay in my own lane. I don't research too much on shit that I don't know about. Some people don't. But this lady online, she was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking curse this bitch. I'm gonna get the powers of Papa Legba to curse this bitch. And everyone online was like, don't do this, because you're already not black. You're not African, you're not black, you got nothing. Why are you trying to get this guy who's like, in our culture, in our spirituality, likes and helps black people? Why are you trying to get him to kill and hurt and harm a black woman? Most likely, like, just no. Girl, if you're really that mad about it, put her in a jar or block her. Don't try to curse her. And you know what she did? She was openly like, I'm gonna fucking curse her with the power of Papa Legba anyway. And then guess what the fuck happened? 3 days later, it was on the news. That bitch died. Tons of people were like, I told you so. And it's like I don't know if I believe in spiritual stuff like that. All I know is, why would you want to fuck with it? Mind your goddamn business. Like, all you gotta do is mind your business. It's the simplest thing ever, because, yeah, simple as fuck. Also, me and my ex homegirl, the one who I had the whole money drawing incense talk with, we did talk about that and the lady selling the oils that weren't from her culture. And she did say it is weird to go for another person's culture when you have your own. Like, for example, like, let's say you wanted like beauty and abundance, and instead of like calling upon like someone a part of your culture or religion, like Oshun or Oshun, however you pronounce it, you're going all the way to like the goddess Lakshmi to like worship her instead, or this other culture and that other culture. And I said, yeah, like, and I told her it's like, I'm okay with it as long as they're being respectful and smart and intentional and not doing anything stupid. But it is just like strange. Like, it'll probably still work, but it's like that's kind of the equivalent of like, let's say you need a cup of sugar. Would you go to your neighbor who's like across the hall from you, or would you like take the best fucking Spirit Airlines plane you can to Texas, knock on like your long lost family member's door, or not even family, like just like your friend from like miles away, and then be like, hey, can I get a cup of sugar? Like, you're just, it'd be like, hey, you have people closer to you that can help. It's just kind of, it's like some sort of self hate there. I don't know. And some people also point out that it could be a lot of self hate towards their own culture. Because, African culture, a lot of people shit on it for a lot of reasons. They see African culture as savage or this or this or that. It's kind of ironic that there's some black people who are like, I'm going to, like, focus on cultures that are not mine for spirituality. And then they abandon their culture. And then someone else is like, I'm tired of the white Anglo Saxon life and I need to spice it up. Let me take the black people culture and let me just kind of, like, shake it up and remove this part that I don't like, add in some random bullshit, add in some glitter, add in some random bullshit from Pinterest, and like just cut it to fit my beliefs, and voila, this is what it was always like before, and I'm gonna tell this to people and make money off of it. Like, it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, in hindsight, that woman on Etsy, she could have been selling oils for like gods, goddesses, people to worship in her own culture. So, but I don't know. I'm not knocking it. Not entirely. I mind my fucking business. But yeah, I feel like eventually the plot got lost, and then, funny enough, a lot of like exclusionary, like racist bullshit came along the way. It started with just people being like, "Hi, maybe don't send your little white girl to school with like two buns and some random chopsticks in her hair and some fucked up yellow paint on her face, and say that she's an Asian person for Halloween wearing like a knockoff over sexualized version of a Japanese kimono." Like, that's what we didn't want. It doesn't mean don't wear kimonos ever. Like, if anything, yeah, rock it. I remember at some point, like, I actually, like, it got so intense, like the backlash from bullshit like that, that I remember I had two really nice silk kimonos, but right as I got them, that's when the whole cultural appropriation bullshit started happening. And the dresses already didn't fit me, and after some point I was like, okay, let me just give these away. Like, well, it's a long story to why they were given away. Like, I'm not that much of a fucking sheep, but still. I'll put it to you like this. I went ahead and oh yeah, what was I saying? So I got distracted. I'm still kind of hungover. But simply put, wear the fucking kimono. Be like, if you like, how do I put this? Like, it's more like, be like, if you go to another country, be respectful. Like, don't just, like, if they say no photos, no photos. If they say don't walk on the secret, sacred, forbidden artifact fucking tower, then don't do it. Don't get on it and take photos because you're a fucking asshole. If some people in their culture are like, we don't like it when you do this, this, or that, then be respectful. Like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But simply put, if someone's like, yeah, we don't give a fuck, wear the fucking kimono, even if it's some tourist trap bullshit, they're letting you do it. If you're in Africa and they're like, hey girl, you look cute with some braids, we'll do it for you for $80, you can go ahead and do it. It's helping a business. It's giving them money. Just be respectful. Like, if you, like, try not to get involved with shit. Like, how do I put this? If you don't like Asian people, don't go around, like, doing certain shit that is like that, like, how do I put this, because that's hypocritical. Like, if you want to look cute and be all like, kawaii desu, I love the idea of going to Japan and I'm gonna wear kimonos and the makeup and this and that, but then the whole time you see an Asian person and then your first instinct is, I'm gonna say a slur and do some fucked up shit with my fingers and my eyes, and start saying that the way they sound with their natural voice sounds like utensils falling on the ground, and that their food smells like fucking shit from a butt. Like, then it's like, yeah, go kill yourself, actually. It's like, don't, like, be nice to people from other races. Fucking shit. I don't know. Like, it's so funny how a movement that was just trying to be, like, accepting and respectful just got so weird. Oh, also, as I was gonna say, I gotta, if I recall, sorry if I botched the pronunciation, I fuck up a lot of words, that's just me. I forget if it's Kipao or Cheongsam, or Cheongsam. Either way, I had one of those, like the little cute, like, neckline and the dress, and I was like, I like this, and I like Asian people, and all my friends are Asian. I like Asian culture, and I like these dresses. But they didn't fit, and I gained weight, and I thought, hey, realistically, when will I ever have money to get these resized so they can actually fit me? They were like so close to fitting, though. They were so gorgeous. I wish I didn't give them away, but I like to think that maybe someone at that Goodwill or community thrift store eventually picked it up, or I have to cope. But eventually, I went to the White Elephant sale in my city with this friend who was like, goth, non-binary, a lot of things that white. Yeah, sorry. Like, I was gonna say a lot of things that tend to be fucking annoying when there's more than one of them. So, and before you get mad at that joke, I'm goth-ish, and also I'm non-binary. I'm not white. You can be mad at the white part. There's a reason I didn't include that. It's okay on its own, but God, fuck. Dealing with white non-binary people actually is hell. Fucking shit. I'm gonna be honest about that. Like, good lord. Fuck. But let's stay on topic. Anyway, I remember I saw the cutest dress ever, and I was like, "Holy shit!" It looked like it was gonna be my size, maybe a little bit too small. The color was perfect, my favorite color, all that. And I thought about getting it, but they were just gave like a stare, like a "Don't you fucking dare! We will cancel you, you racist fucking bitch! If you dare pick up that dress, that's cultural appropriation." They were giving me that stare with their eyes, and they kind of like held the dress by the hanger and were like, kind of like the police, like they were just like, how about we see if there's anything else like that you might like? It's like anything else you might like first. It's like, and they just kind of like were encouraging me to put that shit down. It's like, bitch. ah. Anyway, and also, if you're wondering why was the reason you said white non-binary people are annoying, because they act like they're the fucking cops. They do. They act like they're the fucking cops. But then at the same time, if you dare to say anything that could ever allude that maybe they're not correct about something, then they're quick to pull out labels, or they're quick to just say they're oppressed. But then the whole time, if you were to like go through their Twitter history, you would see a whole bunch of slurs. It's like they're projecting super hard. They're like, hey, look, I'm gay now, or I'm trans now, so therefore I can never be seen as bad for anything ever in my life. But I'm still gonna go out of my way to be fucking hostile to minorities. At best, really, really passive aggressive and weird. And I'm gonna be offended at everything. Don't you dare ask me to wash a plate or, like, clean up a mess I made. And I'm able to say that because, good lord, the people I have. Oh, anyway, staying on topic. Yeah, I'm cool with non-binary people. Let's see, but I don't like people who are a little bit too politically this way or that way. Like, I think people should be tasteful, but I think it's like, how do I put this? Like that whole fucking, I remember there was a photo that went around, the whole your culture is not my prom dress. I was entirely fine. Like several people, like some people were like, oh my god, fuck this white woman, fuck this teenage white girl for wearing a pretty dress to her prom. She is not Asian, she should not be wearing that. I think that's stupid. Let her wear the fucking dress. There was one single photo though that I understand them being offended because the trend of like people doing prayer hands in a photo and stuff. I see why they could have interpreted that as like, oh, she's being racist and like being all like, hi, like racist against Asians. But even that, it's like, did you stretch before that reach? I'm just saying. But I personally, it's like, if they wanted to be mad about that photo, sure. But otherwise, it didn't seem like she did anything wrong at all. She wore a cute dress. If she were wearing that dress or like mocking other women for showing signs of Asianness, like I don't know, like styling their hair a certain way, doing certain things in their culture, and like, if she was doing that shit, then yeah, drag her. Because, there's plenty of people who do that online, like Asian fishing. That's weird. Like, if you're like a white person, you're like, I'm going to do my makeup to try to look like a Korean girl. And then on top of that, I'm going to always like try to spin in little Korean phrases and do this and do that and make people think I'm Korean. That's fucking weird. People do that with black people too online all the time. They'll do it by like not showing how they actually look in real life, using tons of slang, having like a like file picture of some celebrity, and then like every gif or picture they use is usually a black person. It's like a weird little online minstrel show. So that then if they're online going, girl, you hella out of pocket for this one, whole time it's a white guy behind that shit. And then like there's a meme where it's like a white guy typing on his computer, as a black woman, I personally believe that all lives matter, and then you secretly see it's a white guy. mm, the world's a strange place. Anyway, I believe wear what the fuck you want, just like, but yeah, certain shit was stupid. But I don't know. I'm not gonna be mad if a Hawaiian person is like, hey, wearing those hula costumes with the little coconut bras is actually just a over sexualized version of our native outfits and we don't appreciate it. Like, yeah, that's respectful. Or like, it's like, okay, cool. But if it's not a part of your culture, I don't fully get why you're mad. But I guess it's like, yeah, people might associate it with your culture, so that still makes sense, and it's still fucked up. So be respectful. I just think there's a lot of issues in the world and we need to pick and choose our battles. And I think a battle should not be like, because how do I put this? If we exclude ourselves from embracing or enjoying another person's culture in the name of mindfulness, then we're just ironically not. Like, that's the thing. Embrace and love cultures. If you're picking and choosing, fuck you. But, but at the same time, it's not like you need to just like be totally knowledgeable in every single thing about like all these other cultures just to do like one or two little things. Because I don't know, you don't have to be, how do I put this, be mindful, know as much as you can, learn as much as you can, but some things just happen. Like if you just were like, I'm gonna go to the Holi festival, and if I recall, I might be wrong, that's the one where you're like throwing color paints and stuff. You don't have to know everything about India to enjoy it, but at the very least, don't be racist towards Indian people, but still do your fucking research. If you're gonna be like, oh yay, I have Juneteenth off, then like, you know, probably be nice to black people at the very least. If you're just like, I'm gonna be a fucking asshole, like I don't know, it's like, why you show like, if you're throwing Juneteenth celebrations, but then you're not inviting any black people, it's like, yeah, that's a form, like it's like you're pathetic. Because what are you celebrating? Like just seeing it as an excuse to party, but I can't talk too much shit. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm not gonna be mad at people if they're just like, I'm gonna wear this cute dress that I got from another country or in another culture, because like the sales shop sold it to them without a fucking problem. Like people, like, let them fucking wear it. Let them do their hair and their body the way they want, and if you don't like it, just simply stay away from the person. That's how I feel about it. That's it. Also, hell, this reminds me. I remember this one girl. I did not know she was black when I laid eyes on her. I thought she was like some sort of like Asian or Mexican or whatever. I think she had on braids though. But sorry, this is semi-related, and I'm hungover, so I'm debating on if I want to include this or not. If I recall correctly, she had her hair in braids, and I thought to myself, doesn't look like a black person, but those braids look good. And I kept my business and minded it to myself, because why the fuck would I start an issue with it? And you know what happened? She took the braids out because they were too like tight for her hair texture, but me and her did become friends, and she did explain that she very much is a black woman. Very much 100% is a black woman. Like, or okay, not 100%, more like 50 to 75% she's mixed. Doesn't really, like, Filipino mixed with a black person. So, but it's like, hey, that's fully her thing and what she's allowed to do. Plus, how do I put this? Wouldn't it be racist if, because imagine if someone came up to me as I was wearing my Cheongsam and I was actually like mixed with Korean or whatever, and they were like, you can't wear that because you're not Asian. You're not Asian at all. And then I like imagine I was like, hey, I'm actually 1/4 Korean. So I can do what the fuck I want. You're actually kind of racist for trying to please my body. Like, if you really think about it. So it's one of those things. Like, I think policing other people is stupid, but at the same time, I think if you just try to snatch things from other cultures with doing no research and you're like, hey, let's do this, but make like a super hypersexual version or a super aggressive version or a fucked up version or this, and that, and we're not going to do any research on if this is accurate or not, then fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. Eat shit. Like, just like if you don't think you can get success unless you get online and say that your name is like Seong Min Shin when your real name is like Sarah Channing, and it's like, how do I put this? Post the recipe online anyway. And if someone goes, why is a white girl making an Asian food recipe? That's their choice. Some people will still make it anyway because they don't give a fuck. If the food looks good and seems like it'll be promising, they'll eat it anyway. You don't need to get online and just do like digital yellow face. That's fucked up. And also, yeah, how do I put this? People also didn't like the braids conversation because of people like Rachel Dolezal. That's a white woman who just got a fucking tan and then some braids and said, I'm a black person now. I'm mixed. Whole time that's a white woman. I actually met a dude who did that to me too. I remember this Mexican dude, he just admitted to me that the photos he showed me of his dad, like he was actually just a stepdad, and he went on this long drawn out monologue. And I said, okay, that's cool and all that you love him like a real father, but you've been saying nigga this whole time and you're fully 100% like white Mexican. Like, come on now. And yeah, people also called out certain, like, how do I put this? The Miley Cyrus being a mess when she was trying to get away from her Disney image. Like, I didn't like it when I was younger. When I'm older, I still don't like it, but I respect it. I respect it because it's like, yeah, you know what? She wanted the right to do whatever the fuck she wanted. Amen. But some people did point out, it's like, hey, girl, we don't see you hanging out with any black people. It seems like it's so convenient that for your bad girl image, you're just surrounding yourself with like black people to dance with and grind on and twerk with to look cool and hip and fun. And then you're just gonna, the second it's not convenient for you anymore, you're gonna just like, just fucking undo it all. And suddenly you're back to being the girl with the extensions and the wholesome personality. Like, I don't know. But even that's debatable on if people were being overly sensitive and stupid or if they had a point. I don't know. It's a coin toss for me. It depends on how I feel that day. But I feel like some people over exaggerated because it's just like, hey, it's a white girl who wanted to, like, there were white people in the video too. She just wanted to have fun and have a good time. She just was like, I'm going to shake ass and get a haircut and have fun and be friends with people of other races. And then America got fucking mad at her and just tried to do like PC versions of racism to like shit on her. It's like shit on her for her weird ass cheeks, okay. Shit on her because she can't twerk, or because her music's not that good. Okay, go ahead. Like, but I don't know. People are weird. It's just weird. They really just hated that she was promiscuous as fuck. Like, but whatever. Anyway, I think I'm a little bit too hungover to keep talking, and I need to lay down. Even though I drunk a lot today and then got so plastered that I was unconscious for an hour as my computer just played an hour of The Weeknd, which possibly did me massive psych damage, even worse than if it didn't. So I need to rest even more because somehow I've been sleeping all day and yet I'm even less rested. Amen.